Well, thank you so much for joining us. So, you are alumni from Vincennes University. Can you go ahead and explain what your degrees were and where you started at?
I was in conservation law and then Homeland Security. I was actually here before this building was built, so a lot of this stuff is really new.
Brand new?
Yeah.
So you went into the Homeland degree from your conservation. So you had a little bit of that background, and then you went into Homeland. Once you graduated, what did you do?
Well, to backtrack a little bit too, I was trying to enlist out of the Army out of high school, or into the Army out of high school, but I had an injury that set me back for a little bit, and then later I had a waiver, but at the time I didn't, and I had job shadowed conservation officers, so I went into conservation law because it was like, this seems like, but while I was in conservation, Homeland really, like, I don't know, interested me, and it opened a lot more doors, so that was kind of the transition of where I started to how I ended up in Homeland. And then what was the second part of that question?
What did you do after you graduated?
Oh, so yeah, after I graduated, I did a little bit here and there. They had they had 2 government freezes around that time, so a lot of the hiring process were like slowed really far down.
Yeah.
So that was really frustrating. So I got to the point where I was like, I just need to do something. So I enlisted in the military. I could have commissioned, and I kind of regret that I didn't commission now, but I was trying to go through the Special Forces program and be a candidate, which didn't work out. I ended up getting an injury and not being able to do that, but so more reason why I kind of wish I would have just commissioned, but that's where I ended up. I ended up in an airborne heavy weapons company, so that's where I've been.
Okay. So with you being in Special Forces a little bit, did you get deployed?
I wasn't in Special Forces.
Okay.
I was a Special Forces candidate.
Okay. And
I didn't make it because, like I said, for another injury.
Okay.
Yes. So, but yeah, I was deployed. I actually deployed not that long ago. It was in 2017 to 2018 with the airborne unit, and that airborne unit's out of Alaska. So going from -20 to over 100 degrees in Afghanistan was quite a bit. Yeah. So and actually the base, and maybe that's where a lot of this will go, is the FOB that I was originally placed to had a lot of OGA, and for whatever that's other government agencies. So it was a lot of like DEA, FBI, and then like contractors and a lot of that. So there was a lot of interaction to be had with civilians who were doing federal jobs in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
So that was the deployment. People think of deployments and they think of a certain thing, but we worked with a lot of OGA guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you definitely got a feel of working with the military and then working with other federal agencies.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And I tried to take advantage and like socially network while I was there. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a lot of cool people going in from multiple different agencies.
Well, and it was a big hot spot. There was a lot of conflict in that area. It was actually Jalalabad, Afghanistan. There was a lot of like conflict there, but it was like little bits and pieces. This is when ISIS was there, and they're like trying to do like suicide bombings and stuff like that, and a lot of it wasn't directed towards us. It was directed towards the civilians there, the Afghans, and I think the OGAs were really trying to help them out. So the other government agency guys honestly, they had more heat than we had in the time I was there. So that was an interesting dynamic to observe.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are civilians and you're here for federal jobs, and you're getting more heat than we are. It was just interesting.
Yeah, that whole dynamic would be very interesting. Yeah. So how long were you over there?
So I was only there for 5 months because they sent me home for paternity leave because Lily was born. So.
That's always a good reason to come home.
Yeah, no, I wasn't complaining.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So after you got home from deployment, what did you do next?
So then I was kind of routed to be our unit armorer, in charge of, the short end of it is I was in charge of accountability and maintenance for our weapons. And like I said, I was in a heavy weapons company, so we had a lot of stuff. Like coming back from deployment, a lot of things that needed to be reset were like the tow missile launchers, so like the missiles that have the wire on the back end that help guide them. So we were really specialized with those, but some of them got messed up on deployment, and so dealing with a lot of people for like maintenance and stuff like that was kind of, yeah. I had to do a lot.
Had to do a lot of.
Yeah, and then being in an airborne unit, a lot of people would go on a jump, and they would need access to the arms room. If a jump came up, they're like, "Oh, we have a couple of slots. We're trying to squeeze this person in because they're behind. Because you're supposed to jump every, 4 times a year." They're like, "Oh, they're behind on jumps. We'll try and squeeze them in." But if it's a combat jump, then they need their equipment, so then they need me to come in to give them, right, 'cause like I said, it was a big accountability part. I was in charge of making sure that everyone was given the weapons that they should, and like the weapons were good to go, and yeah, like it was a lot of paperwork.
Oh,
yeah.
Don't we love paperwork?
Yeah.
So you did work in that, and then you went to Alaska?
No, that was the original unit.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the original unit. So I went to, yes, so the pathway was, OSIT was in Benning, and then I went to airborne school, and then from airborne school I went to the Special Warfare Center for the Special Forces candidates, and then like I said, the injury kind of set me back, so then they sent me to J-Bear, which is in Anchorage, Alaska, and then I deployed from Alaska to Afghanistan. So then when I came back, it was back to
Alaska.
Yeah.
Okay. So a little bit of a crazy turn while you were in Alaska. You want to explain what happened?
Yeah. So I took a private on his first hunting trip ever. I thought I was just trying to be a good person and take somebody out on their first trip. And while we were out there, I had come across this opportunistic shot on a bear, took it, killed it, great. It was a very quick death for the bear, but it fell down the mountain. As it fell down the mountain, it knocked some boulders loose, and I guess I was trying to warn this guy about them, like trying to keep a lookout for the guy who's never been hunting before, and as I'm warning him, 2 20-pound boulders hit me in the head. So then I had a severe traumatic brain injury, and that's been a long path. So I had that brain injury. They don't have enough medical facilities really specialized in that in Alaska, so then I was sent to the Center for Army Medicine, which is in San Antonio, Fort Sam, BAMC. So that's where I was in the hospital then. So this happened in September. I was in the hospital until December 28th, so January. I was in the hospital for a while, and then since then I've been in outpatient care, healing quicker than they know what to do with. But in the Army, once you've had a brain injury, they wait 1 year and make sure nothing little things come up.
Yeah.
Just to make sure you're good to go back to duty. Especially being in a combat MOS, they want to make sure I can decide to pull a trigger.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's a big part of healing, making sure you can get back to.
Right. Yeah, like cognitive functioning. Right? They want to make sure that's good to go. So
absolutely.
So I needed something to do. So I started my graduate program, and then I have an internship with the U.S. Marshals. So it's like, I'm healing really well. They don't know what to do with me, but I'm trying to find things.
You're an anomaly.
Yeah.
It's a good anomaly.
No, it is good, but I'm still trying to find things to be productive.
Yeah, absolutely.
To feel like I'm contributing in some way. Yeah.
So you mentioned you're doing an internship with Marshals. Can you explain what you're going to be doing?
Yes. So there's been some side talk about me being in the infantry and having deployed, that they're going to try and integrate me more than they would with some other things. But basically my understanding is the Marshals, a lot of times they integrate a lot of local police, they'll have the FBI, so there's a lot of information, right? So they need to have a packet on the fugitive that they're after. So I'm supposed to be compiling these packets and sending them off properly. Okay. So it's more paperwork stuff with it's a good opportunity. I'll talk to a lot of people on there, but I'm used to a lot of paperwork at this point, so whatever.
It's kind of a no big deal thing at this point.
Yeah. It's like, it's not what everybody dreams about doing, but it needs to get done regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm an intern, so it's okay
Kind
if
of part
I do
of it, yeah. So you're working on your master's now.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing at it?
I'm doing it in human factors, which a lot of people don't know what that is right away. So it's basically a lot like ergonomics. I feel like it's a lot like ergonomics with a little bit more cognitive psychology thrown into it. My big thing is like I do enjoy training and educating people, and this really jumps into how to do that more efficiently, or how to build things that will help you train. Like right now I'm taking a class, I forget what the class is titled exactly, but it's essentially virtual reality and simulations. So like I said, that goes right along with training people. So if I'm in a leadership position, or if I get out and I need to train, or I'm in a leadership position federally in another way, it'll all help me figure out how to train people more efficiently and the best way to do it, I guess.
Absolutely. So, I mean, looking back at what you've done and graduating, you graduated in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
So in the last 5 years, you've done some crazy cool things. How would you say that going to through the Homeland program, especially coming from a conservation
Mm-hmm.
background, how would you say that has helped you?
Yeah, so I'm in the military in lower enlisted, and like I said, I feel like it would have been better if I commissioned and just tried to go the special operations route a different time instead of failing out of it because of an injury this time. So if someone were in the Homeland Department and they wanted to get in the military, the best option is to commission. But even with that, like I said, on deployment, the big example I can think of is on deployment, working with a lot of these OGA guys. Like I said, a lot of them, they're all over the place, like FBI, DEA, like there are a lot of them out there. And then there's all these like little special task forces. So being able to relate and talk intelligently to them, that was important. Or even with this internship with like the marshals, like they were really nice to me about it. I went in for this interview, I was like kind of given this internship. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And a lot of it was because they saw it, they're like, okay, he's combat MOS, he's deployed, and I have a degree.
Yeah.
So, and it was directly in line with what they're trying to get at. So, and yeah, I think the Homeland thing is broad enough in the good way that like it can, like, I didn't have a degree for U.S. Marshals.
Right.
But it's in line, right. And there's so many more of that. Like I had an internship when I was here with the Director of Emergency Management in Davis County.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not like what I'm trying to like fill in now, but that was an experience that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So like I said, being broad and being able to touch all these bases is good, because people only have so many life experiences.
Absolutely.
So sometimes you need to just go out of your way and get some of these life experiences, and this gives you an opportunity to branch out if you want to.
Right.
And like I said, find out exactly what you're wanting to do.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I really like about the degree is there's so many different ways that you can go.
Mm-hmm.
You're not boxed into one thing,
Yeah.
but you can have all these different opportunities if you want. You can totally take that chance and go all these different routes, and to know that you started because you lived in Washington.
Yeah.
So not far from Vincennes. You started from local, and then you went and did so many great things. And you're going to be going to San Antonio and doing the fugitive, the marshals.
Yeah.
That's going to be a really cool thing. So, would you like to add anything else?
No, I think like the big thing is just it's focusing on all these opportunities and trying to get as many life experiences in as you can. Like not to overwhelm anybody. Like sometimes a lot goes on, people get overwhelmed, especially with like school. You don't need to overwhelm yourself, but you need to at least try this, try that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Because you never know.
Right. You don't need to fully commit to anything, especially when you're younger yet. But try it out. Try this or try that. And the Homeland's good in that, like, you know that you're wanting to do some public service of some sort, probably. Or, you know, you're wanting to be, I don't know, you have a protective drive of some sort. Homeland's good. You're edging that way, but then there are other things that you can, like I said, there's there's many ways to actually go about that one target.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all so much for sitting down and talking with us of everything that you did while you were here and then while you were in the field after you graduated.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thanks.